Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Week 2 Thursday Night Football Showdown slate on Draftkings between the Chargers and the Chiefs. We do have a great game to kick off Week 2. This Thursday night should be a really good game between two really high-powered offenses. I think we have a really high total in this game. Right now, this game sits at a 54.5 total with the Chiefs favored by 4.5. So this should be a fun Thursday Night Football game. As always, guys, we're going to talk through the Draftkings Showdown slate. We're going to talk through the player pool, just kind of go from top to bottom, hit on all the playable options, hit on all the guys that I do have interest in on this slate. Before we get started, though, make sure, as always, you hit that like button down below. If you are new to the channel here, click that subscribe button as well. We'll be uploading these Showdown videos for every Monday night, Thursday night primetime games all throughout the season. Just kind of giving my thoughts on these Showdown slates. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed. And also, if you have not yet, definitely check out the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. So PrizePicks is a player prop based DFS site. Very simple. You're just taking a player to have more or less than their projection. And PrizePicks has a lot of projections posted already for this Thursday Night Football game. They even have some stuff up already for the Week 1 main slate. So you can take a look at all the props that PrizePicks has available. You can make your selections. Again, you're just taking more or less if you have a strong lean one way or the other. If you guys are not on PrizePicks yet, if you have not signed up for PrizePicks, get over there. Make sure to sign up with promo code NOAH. When you do sign up with my promo code, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. And as always, I will be sharing some of my favorite props for this Thursday night game. I will probably make a video tomorrow on Wednesday. I'm uploading this video on Tuesday. Tomorrow on Wednesday is when I will make my PrizePicks video talking through some props that I like for this Thursday night game. So definitely check that video out tomorrow if you are interested in some PrizePicks props. And again, if you're not on PrizePicks yet, get over there, sign up with code NOAH, get that deposit bonus because we're going to be talking PrizePicks all NFL season, talking through some player props that I like each week. But let's hit on this DraftKings Showdown slate. Start from the top and just kind of work our way down. You do have the quarterbacks as the two most expensive options on the slate. Patrick Mahomes coming in at $11,800 and Justin Herbert coming in at $11,200. I don't really have anything negative to say about either one of these guys. I think on these Showdown slates, I'm going to say it pretty much every single week. Quarterbacks are always going to be some of the stronger plays on Showdown slates. It is very rare that you don't see a quarterback in the winning lineup. Usually at least one, if not both, of the quarterbacks are going to make the winning lineup, just because quarterbacks do offer like some of the highest floors and they still do have ceilings as well. And obviously both of these QBs are great fantasy quarterbacks. I mean, I'm pretty sure for Week 1, Patrick Mahomes was the overall QB1, threw for 5 touchdowns, had almost 38 DraftKings points. Obviously, this is a game that should be pretty high scoring against two high-powered offenses. I know these two teams did play last year. They actually played twice last year, and both games were pretty high scoring. When they played the first time last season, the Chargers won 30-24, and then they did play again, and it was a really good game. It went to overtime, and the Chiefs won 34-28. So when these teams played last year, the two games they played, they were both high scoring. I think there's a good chance Thursday night's game will be high scoring as well. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a very good play on this Showdown slate, probably the top projected option overall, and Justin Herbert isn't far behind him. Now, I do want to mention that Justin Herbert will probably be missing one of his best weapons in Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen injured his hamstring on Sunday, and it doesn't look like he's going to play for this game with the short week. So without Keenan Allen, I think we can bump down Herbert a little bit, but Herbert is still a great fantasy quarterback. He has plenty of weapons outside of Keenan Allen. He's in a very good offense as well. And again, this is a game that should be very high scoring. So Herbert's a great option too. I think straight up, I would probably say Mahomes projects better than Herbert. But when you're building out Showdown lineups, you're going to have a lot of exposure to both these guys. It's really just going to come down to how you construct your lineups. Like if you're playing Travis Kelce or maybe Juju at captain, you probably want to have Patrick Mahomes in those lineups. If you decide to play Mike Williams or maybe like an Austin Eckler, you could pair Herbert with those guys. But depending on how you construct your lineup will kind of decide which quarterback you play. Honestly, I think both quarterbacks though are going to be very good options on this Showdown slate. And then you have Travis Kelce at $11K. Obviously, Kelce, really expensive. I would say he probably doesn't project as well as the quarterbacks, but man, Kelce has a ton of upside. We saw that in Week 1. Obviously, without Tyreek Hill now, Kelce should be a target monster. He led the Chiefs in targets in Week 1, had 9 targets, 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. And I do believe last season, the Chargers really struggled against tight ends last season. The Chargers actually did allow the most receiving yards to opposing tight ends, and they allowed the most fantasy points to tight ends last season. So it is a really good matchup for Travis Kelce. I mean, he's a great play as well. I hate to say like all these guys are great plays, but they really are. Like, there's nothing negative you can say about Travis Kelce. It's going to be really tough, I think, to play like Mahomes, Herbert, and Kelce all in the same lineup unless you like go cheap at captain, which I think is actually viable on the slate. And we'll talk about some cheap options that I do like. But yeah, Kelce's a really good option. The volume should be there. The matchup's really good. It's a great game environment. I mean, I really have nothing negative to say about Travis Kelce. I think straight up though, the quarterbacks do probably project better. I think the quarterbacks are just better. Like, they're safer options. They have higher floors, but clearly the ceiling is there for Travis Kelce. With him scoring 29 DraftKings points last week. Then you got Austin Eckler, who was a little bit of a disappointment in Week 1. I think a lot of people were expecting Eckler to have kind of a big Week 1 performance and a fairly good matchup against the Raiders. He did see 18 touches last week, but he didn't play a ton of snaps. His snap share was actually kind of low. He only played on 49% of the snaps. You saw Joshua Kelly play 27%, Sony Michel played 24%, and then they did involve Xander Horvath. I think that he's more of a fullback though. He played 22% of the snaps. But I think Eckler's gonna get the volume every week. He's not gonna be like an every down back though. Like, they're gonna involve Kelly, they're gonna involve Michelle. I still think we can project Eckler for probably 12 to 15 carries and like 5 to 6 targets a week, which still does make him a very strong running back play. And his involvement in the passing game is what really makes him so valuable on DraftKings. With the full PPR scoring, with Eckler's ability to catch a ton of passes, he's a guy that's always going to be a strong play on DraftKings. And without Keenan Allen, we could see Eckler involved even more in the passing game this week. And the Chiefs, they did really struggle against pass catching running backs last season. For what it's worth, in terms of receptions allowed to opposing running backs, the Chiefs allowed 109 receptions to running backs last year, which was 4th highest in the league. So I think it's a good matchup for Eckler. I think the volume will be there. It's a little concerning that he played less than 50% of the snaps in Week 1, but I wouldn't be too worried. We know Eckler's going to get opportunity. We know he's a guy that can catch a ton of balls out of the backfield, which is really valuable on DK. So yeah, I think Eckler's still in play. I probably would still rather though get up to like the quarterbacks, and probably I think straight up I'd take Kelce over Eckler. But I don't really have anything negative to say about Eckler. The volume's going to be there, and the pass catching ability makes him a really good play on DK. Then you do have Keenan Allen, who, like I said, probably isn't going to play this week. All signs are kind of pointing to him not being able to play. Injured that hamstring. It's a short week, so expecting Keenan Allen to be out, which should mean that Mike Williams steps in as the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. Now, I took Mike Williams over receiving yards on Prize Picks on Sunday, and he would just, God, it was so annoying because we ran really good to get Keenan Allen injured. Obviously, you never want to root for an injury, but Keenan Allen getting injured definitely should have been a boost for Mike Williams. And Mike Williams just didn't really do anything last week. He had 2 catches for 10 yards on just 4 targets. Was a huge disappointment. I think we can expect Mike Williams to bounce back this week. I mean, without Keenan Allen, the target share should be even more condensed in this Chargers offense. I know last week the targets were really spread out. Like, I think there was like 7 or 8 guys that got targeted. Honestly, it might even been more than that. Like, Justin Herbert was just throwing the ball to everybody. Without Keenan Allen, I think Mike Williams probably is the most likely he's the likely candidate to lead the team in targets. And we know Mike Williams is a really talented receiver. We know he has big play upside. It's a game environment that sets up as being a shootout. So this is a spot where Mike Williams could definitely bounce back in a big way. And I think Mike Williams is someone that I do have a lot of interest in on the showdown slate. I think as a captain option, I think he provides a lot of upside to be a winning captain as well. We know he can break off those long touchdown catches. I'm not too worried about last week. He still played a ton of snaps. He ran a ton of routes. He just really didn't get targeted much. Without Keenan Allen this week, you would think Mike Williams will probably see some targets coming his way, even though it didn't happen last week. I would expect him to bounce back here. So yeah, Mike Williams, someone I'm definitely interested in. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm probably not going to go to on this slate. Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran really, really hot last week to finish with 22 DraftKings points. He only touched the ball 10 times, but he scored 2 touchdowns. There were 2 receiving touchdowns, which that's not something we can expect to happen every single week. I know one of the receiving touchdowns he had was a little shovel pass, and then one of them was like an out route. He was just wide open, and they were both near the goal line. The volume was not really there. I will say that the Chiefs, they did run away with that game on Sunday, and a lot of the starters didn't play the full fourth quarter. I know a lot of the starters weren't even out there in the fourth quarter. Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably would have got more than 10 touches had it been a close game. but he didn't play on like a ton of the snaps. I know they still involve Jerick McKinnon a lot. They did involve Isaiah Pacheco more towards the end of the game, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire only played on 39% of the snaps last week. Now again, it was a blowout, so he probably would have played more had the game been close. But with him scoring 2 receiving touchdowns, with him having 22 DraftKings points last week, I think that was definitely an outlier. I would be a little bit worried about his volume this week if he's still going to be splitting time with McKinnon and potentially with Pacheco as well. He's probably going to get more than 10 touches, but does he get enough volume to be a guy that I think you want to prioritize on this showdown slate? Probably not for me. The Chargers, they were pretty bad against the run last year, so like the matchup is pretty good, but I think I'd rather go to like Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams has more upside. I think Juju even maybe offers some more upside for a little bit cheaper. I'm personally going to probably be underweight on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, probably not going to go there. If I just play like one lineup on this showdown slate, then I doubt he makes my one lineup. If I was playing like 150 lineups, yeah, he would be in my player pool, but I don't think I'd be playing him like in a large majority of my teams. Especially like if his ownership's going to be really high, I think he's someone that I'd be like, okay, coming underweight on. But then you have Juju at 8K, who was pretty solid in his debut with the Chiefs. He saw 8 targets. I'm pretty sure that was the second highest on the team behind Kelce. Had 6 catches for 79 yards. He is listed as questionable for this game. I'm recording this video on Tuesday. I would expect Juju to play. I don't think there's any worry about him missing this game. That injury that he suffered doesn't seem to be really that serious. So I think we can expect Juju to continue to get pretty good volume in this Chiefs offense. I mean, he's pretty much their wide receiver 1 behind Travis Kelce. I mean, you could obviously consider Kelce the wide receiver 1, but Juju's going to get the opportunity. Patrick Mahomes said that like he doesn't know who the guy's going to be next or any week. Like he said, one week it could be Kelce, it could be Juju one week, it could be MVS the next week. But I think Juju's locked into a good role with this Chiefs offense. He's got a good quarterback throwing in the ball, and he looked good in his debut with the Chiefs. The volume was there, 6 catches for 79 yards. At 8K, I think Juju's firmly in play on the showdown slate. Between like Juju or Mike Williams, probably going to lean Mike Williams, but I'll be very interested to see like once ownership projections come out, like if Mike Williams is going to be really, really popular because Keenan Allen is out, then maybe you could say Juju's the better play for lower ownership, but I think Juju is a very solid option, and he's going to be someone worth considering in DFS pretty much all season, until his price tag gets to where it probably should be. Then you do have MVS at 6,400, who didn't get a ton of volume in Week 1, but he still saw 4 targets. He still did play. He still did play on a lot of the snaps. He actually led the team in snaps played, 73%. Again, I don't want to look too much into the Chiefs' snaps played last week because it was a blowout. But MVS did play on 73% of the snaps. Saw 4 targets. I'm pretty sure he did drop a touchdown last week. So he probably could have had a better game than he actually did. We know MVS has that big play upside. When he was with Green Bay, he was always a threat to get a long touchdown catch. We know Mahomes likes to air it out, likes to throw the ball deep. MVS is one of these guys for showdown that does offer like captain winning upside if he can catch a 75-yard touchdown or something. I think your safer plays are definitely Juju and Mike Williams, and even we're going to talk about Josh Palmer for cheaper. Like I think those guys are just safer plays and they probably project better. But I would assume MVS comes in with fairly low ownership on the showdown slate, just at his price tag and with the guys priced around him. I don't see him being like a guy that everyone rosters. So MVS is fine. He's probably more of a GPP option though if I had to give my opinion there. And then talking about some of the values, so like once we get below 6K, some cheap options. You got Mecole Hardman at 5,600. Mecole Hardman did see 6 targets last week, got 3 catches for 16 yards. He did find the end zone. He played on 56% of the snaps last week. He was basically the wide receiver 3. I think you're going to see MVS and Juju kind of playing like on the outside, and then Mecole Hardman mainly operating out of the slot. We know Mecole Hardman, very similar to MVS, is a guy that offers big play upside. Mecole Hardman has a ton of speed, so he's always a threat to catch a long touchdown or to take like a screenplay to the house. So in tournaments, I think he's a solid play. You have Josh Palmer for cheaper, and I think Josh Palmer is probably going to be like one of the most popular plays on this showdown slate if I had to guess. Josh Palmer is only 5K. He should step in as the wide receiver 2 for the Chargers with Keenan Allen likely out this game. And I want to pull up a tweet that Adam Levitan put out. So last season, in the one game that Keenan Allen missed last year, Josh Palmer played 62 of the 66 snaps. He ran 33 routes on 35 dropbacks from Justin Herbert. So he almost ran a route on every single one of Herbert's dropbacks. And he had 7 targets, had a team high 7 targets, 5 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. That was when Keenan Allen missed one game last year. That was what Josh Palmer did. So basically he had, 17.6 DraftKings points in the game without Keenan Allen. It's a good matchup. It's a great game environment. Palmer's going to be on the field a ton. He's going to get targets without Keenan Allen out there, and he's only 5K. And I think Josh Palmer is a talented receiver. I think a lot of people are kind of buying into Josh Palmer being someone that could be valuable in fantasy. He showed upside before, and now without Keenan Allen, you should think, or we should think, that there's going to be more playing time available for Josh Palmer. So at 5K, I think he's probably the best value play on the slate. He's going to be very popular, I would assume, but it's going to be hard to get away from him. He's just going to project so well at that salary. And if you want to try and pay up for all the studs, if you want to play Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Travis Kelce all in the one lineup, I think playing a guy like Josh Palmer at captain could allow you to do that. I mean, if you play Palmer at captain, that leaves you $8,500 left per player, which is plenty of salary to fit in a couple of these studs and then maybe one more value play. That might be I'll have to see what Palmer's projected ownership is in the captain. If he's going to be everyone's favorite go-to value captain, then maybe that's probably something you just don't do in GPPs. But yeah, if nobody's going to play Josh Palmer in the captain spot, then he's going to be someone that I have a lot of interest in as a captain play, just because he is so cheap. He allows you to fit in all the studs at the top, and I think Palmer has enough upside to potentially be the winning captain here. So I like him quite a bit for value. I think Gerald Everett's a pretty solid value play as well. He was pretty solid in his debut with the Chargers. Only got 4 targets, but he did have 3 catches for 54 yards. He did find the end zone. Again, without Keenan Allen, there's just going to be more targets for all these guys, for Josh Palmer, for Mike Williams, for Gerald Everett. So I think at 4,800, if you need a value play, I think Gerald Everett makes a lot of sense. I think him and Palmer are both very solid values. And we should also see more playing time for DeAndre Carter. DeAndre Carter actually he was the guy that really stepped up after Keenan Allen got injured. He had 3 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown on 4 targets. I know he had a couple long catches. I think his touchdown was like a 25 or 30 yard catch. He's very cheap, 4,600. You would think he's going to get probably more playing time. He's probably going to be their wide receiver 3. He's going to play out of the slot. After Keenan Allen got injured last week, DeAndre Carter did play on 37% of the snaps. I will mention that Keenan Allen played 22 snaps before getting injured. So obviously, if Keenan Allen would have not played that whole game, we probably would have seen Carter play on way more than just 37% of the snaps. He would have played, probably 60 to 70%. So you're going to see Carter play a lot out of the slot. He's going to get playing time. He should get some targets, and obviously he's got a great quarterback throwing him the ball. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity for him to get fantasy points here. I do feel a little bit better about Palmer and Everett. I think those guys are just a little bit safer plays, maybe offer a little bit more upside too. But yeah, I think DeAndre Carter for value does stand out as a very good play. Pacheco, not really interested in. A lot of his points last week came in garbage time after the Chiefs had already blown out the Cardinals, so I'm not going to go there. Not really interested there. Kickers, I think, are always fine for value. I do think we have better value plays with upside, like Palmer, Everett, Carter. Those guys I would definitely rather play over the kickers, but kickers are usually fine to give you anywhere from 6 to 10 points. Sometimes you'll see kickers put up 12 to 15 points, and sometimes kickers will make the winning lineup. Rarely do you see both kickers in the winning lineup, so I would definitely probably limit myself to one kicker per lineup made. But if you need value plays, if you want just a safe value, usually in cash games, the kickers are always going to be solid values. So yeah, nothing wrong with going to one of the 2 kickers. The defenses on this slate, probably not for me. I will say that in a high-scoring game like this, you could see defenses luck box into a defensive touchdown. If these quarterbacks are throwing the ball a lot and they're dropping back, obviously there's a chance for them to get sacked, for forced fumbles, for interceptions, pick sixes, and stuff like that. We have 2 good quarterbacks, Herbert and Mahomes, 2 guys that don't really turn the ball over much. So I'm probably going to avoid the defenses here. Again, people say that defenses are actually better to roster in high-scoring games just because you want them facing quarterbacks that are dropping back. It's a lot easier for defenses to get points when a quarterback is throwing versus just constant running the ball. It's a lot harder to get a strip, and then a scoop and score versus a pick six. I would say a pick six, a forced fumble, a sack. Those are a lot easier to get than a just regular strip on a running back. So you could go to the defenses. I probably won't be going there though. Defenses tend to be overowned to begin with. And then some of these other value plays like Sony Michel, probably not. I mean, he played on, how many snaps did Sony Michel play last week? He played 24 snaps, but I don't think he really got many touches. He got 7 carries, wasn't very efficient. I don't think I'm going there. Jerick McKinnon got some opportunity. He got four rushes. He got 4 targets as well. McKinnon is a guy that they do involve in the passing game quite a bit. So, like, he always has a little bit of value on DraftKings, especially like on these showdown slates. Not really much on the main slate, but on these showdown slates, McKinnon does carry some value because he can catch 4, 5, 6 balls. He's kind of like a dart throw. Like, I wouldn't rule him out. Like, if you're playing a lot of lineups, I think throw McKinnon in your player pool, but not going to be someone I really build around. Sky Moore, I think he only had 1 catch last week for like 30 yards. He didn't play on a ton of snaps either. Like, he only played, let's see, where's he at? He only played on, 19% of the snaps, so not really interested in Sky Moore, not really interested in I don't think anyone else. I guess the one guy that I will mention, maybe 2 guys, so Jalen Guyton probably gets a little bit more playing time this week without Keenan Allen. He didn't really play much last week for what it's worth, and he was a guy that the Chargers involved a lot last year whenever Keenan Allen got injured, but now that they have DeAndre Carter, now they have Josh Palmer kind of emerging. I guess Guyton at this point is like their wide receiver 5, and obviously with Keenan Allen out, he'll probably get bumped up to the wide receiver 4. He's pretty much, he'll be their wide receiver 4 for this game, assuming Keenan Allen sits. But he only got 1 target last week. He only played on 7% of the snaps. He's just like, he's a dart throw at best, I think. Not someone I'm super interested in. Trey McKitty did get some playing time last week and actually did get a couple catches. He had 3 catches for 24 yards on 4 targets. He did play on 60% of the snaps last week. He was involved a lot, him and Gerald Everett. If they continue to run a lot of 2 tight end sets and, if they continue to play Everett and McKitty as much as they did, last week, maybe McKitty could carry a little bit of value into this game. I think he's more used as a blocker, whereas Everett's kind of their pass catcher. But McKitty did get 4 targets last week. He's only $400. I mean, he's almost minimum salary. He's worth a sprinkle, I think, in GPPs. If you're playing if you're max entering, if you're playing 150 lineups, I think I'd throw him in my player pool. Just because he could get a couple catches, which might be all that you need at this salary. And it was good to see him play 60% of the snaps last week. So I guess we'll mention McKitty as kind of a punt play, but that's really it for this showdown slate, I think. I think we kind of talked about all the best options, kind of the best value plays. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, I hope it did help. If you guys enjoy these showdown breakdowns, as always, just please hit that like button, and if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. Again, go check out PrizePicks too. PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. Make sure to use promo code NOAH when you do sign up. Check out all the props that PrizePicks has available for this Thursday night game. They do already have a lot of stuff posted. I'm sure as we get closer to kickoff Thursday night, they'll add even more props. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will be sharing a couple of my favorite plays for this Thursday night game. I'll probably make my video for PrizePicks on Wednesday. So check out that video Wednesday if you are playing on PrizePicks. If you're not, definitely get over there, sign up, use code NOAH. We're going to be talking PrizePicks, pretty much all NFL season. But that's all that I got for this showdown slate, guys. I wish you the best of luck. This should be a great game. Hopefully we get a shootout here, but good luck on this showdown slate, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.